Been getting some feedback from fans that my haircut sucks, so we're gonna try out a few new do's. This one is called the Gavin Newsom. Because I like options, not because I'm letting the trolls get me down. And that being said, no one can out-troll my tiger mom. Legit, she doesn't even know what a meme is and made this. She dragged me. Welcome to the Liberal Conspiracy. This episode breaks down the must-win electoral battlegrounds. If you've wondered why Florida is so important in every presidential election, it's not because they're model citizens. Because we have a system that is winner-take-all, it's playing on the fringe of these few states that makes an entire election. Oh yeah, I'm not actually filming during a hazy Mad Max LA sunset every day, or I guess just San Francisco now. Due to the Electoral College, the majority of Politico's focus is on 6 or so states on the path to a victorious 270 electoral votes. The math tends to hinge on a few possible tipping points: Florida, North Carolina, Arizona, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Michigan. Based on polling and historic trends, remember them. These are the essential states for Joe to compete. Think of it like a game of Settlers of Catan. Democrats can depend on the brick and ore from New York and California, but that sheep and wheat in the middle is elusive and up for grabs. Some 4s and 5s there, pretty decent rolls. Is this analogy holding up? I don't know. All I know is the president has the longest speech card and boasts the largest armed militia. So we need to build some cities and score victory points in the Midwest. In 2020, the whole game may boil down to winning back Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, the Rust Belt. Because what do you let rust? Shit you don't pay enough attention to. For ease, we're going to refer to Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania of the Rust Belt, a dumb name, as WAMP. The election boiled down to just one vote or two per precinct in key spots around WAMP, a margin of 0.06% of all votes cast. We should give everything we got for this WAMP. We haven't seen this much big Midwest energy since the last Hollywood Oscar bait based in America's heartland. There's one every year. The theme is, they lived in the Midwest, yet they still somehow persevere. I'm partial to Wisconsin as a focus. It is 100% democracy's firewall. And like a DNC server, it was compromised in 2016, and now we're dealing with the fallout. It was the first state to deal with the corona primary, and the state that most widely embraces its stereotypes. Yeah, I love beer. Oh yeah, brats too. Cheese, of course, the squeakier the better. And somehow Midwest nice is paired with one of the most divisive political environments. But before they identify as red or blue, they all bleed green and gold. So how in the holy mackerel does this work? The Badger State's most beloved sons join our conspiracy.
Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes, comedian Charlie Berens, my most Wisconsin famous friends, thanks for joining the program.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having us.
Well, you are the premier experts in Badger State pride. What makes this state special?
You know, of all the Midwest states, I always view Wisconsin as the one that's like the weirdest, and we kind of like it. You know, it's the only state where you can walk into a funeral, see someone wearing a cheese hat and just say, yeah, that sounds about right. Okay, where's the brandy? You know,
I have to step in, and because I have absolutely been to a funeral where people were drinking Miller Lite during the funeral. People got up.
I feel like, Democrat or Republican, everyone's still wearing Zumbas to church into the Packer game.
Yeah.
The things that go on in this state aren't necessarily traditional, but they are Wisconsin traditions. We have some of the highest voter participation in the entire country. We also have the highest census participation.
Yeah, I think especially with the vote by mail too, I mean, that has never been a political thing. And if anything, the older members of my family lean Republican. They've always voted by mail.
Another part of Wisconsin's uniqueness is that there's a lot of people who just are super Midwest nice, don't want to be confrontational. So how do you get those who still haven't gotten involved to see that a lot of these issues go beyond politics but demand political action?
Oof. It's a good question. Like, it can't be ignored when people find themselves out of work, when people find themselves having to figure out whether to send their children to school or not. They don't pay too much attention to politics. I mean, there's literally no way out of it. There's no way around it.
You know, I haven't gone down the political road with the Manitowoc Minute. I want to keep it to issues, trying to be a bridge for everyone, build dialogue. And there are certain things that we just have to say that this is ridiculous, that something like this is politicized. And if they sound political, I think we have to ask ourselves, who's making these things sound political? Because everybody knows the term divide and conquer. And when you go against your instinct to love your neighbor as yourself, then you're on the wrong path.
Last year we got to go to all 72 counties, and some of those trips were storm damage tours where we traveled through different communities. A lot of farms that were impacted, whether it was flooding or total devastation. The tornado didn't stop and say, hey, are you a Democrat or are you a Republican?
An issue that hit close to home was George Floyd, but then Jacob Blake really just brought it straight to the doorstep.
Although we felt like things were moving in the right direction, we felt like we were having the right conversations. Clearly, I guess sort of foolish to assume that in the span of 2 months, we will move past a generations old problem. I had a chance to speak with the Bucks, and I told them, when they were getting ready to put out their statement, I was like, well, let's make sure that we add voting to that statement, because you delivering the message, reminding people to step up and make their voices heard can go so far.
I definitely expected to party with you two in Milwaukee, your home city, for the convention. It's probably the biggest historic FOMO I've ever had.
Yeah, man, definitely a tremendous letdown.
The city is on the right trajectory. I think everything from, to beer and to cheese. Okay, for gosh sakes, we could have rolled into the DNC on a cow, crying out for you.
I'm still a little salty about it, to be completely honest. And I do think we should get a do-over.
What we did get to see is your rousing endorsement for Joseph Biden's.
For the next president of the United States of America, Joseph Biden's. Joseph R. Biden.
Can you comment on your wardrobe choice after khaki suit gate?
And I was at home, and then I looked at that suit like, oh, how can I not wear this suit? And everybody else for the roll call across the states, they did theirs pre-recorded.
You didn't get fed the Rhode Island pre-tape either, so you didn't know to bring out some quick cheese curds or.
No, I didn't know. Then I felt like other Joe Bidens of the world deserved a chance also.
I thought it was hilarious, for the record.
First thing that comes to mind, Mandela, Kringle.
Oh man, raspberry.
Chuck, Packers shareholders, do they make any economic sense?
Yes, absolutely. In your head, it's all about the emotional buy.
Lieutenant Governor, shorts when it's 40 degrees.
Yes, because I run in shorts when it's 40 degrees. So yes.
Charlie, last one, hot dish.
Hot dish? Well, no, that's okay. So you're going to upset the casserole people out there, okay? But I will tell you this, do not put green beans in either one. Put those in a potato gun and shoot them at something.
For everyone outside of Wisconsin, what are the ways that you recommend people getting involved?
Wisconsin is killing it right now. They just had the Princess Bride script rereading. Now they're doing a Parks and Recs reunion. But long term, you got to think about down ballot races. And also nonpartisan local races are an incredible investment.
Okay, whether you're Democrat or Republican, you both got rhubarb in your garden. Okay, so get over yourselves for crying out loud. Okay, real good. Keep her moving. Go Packers. And fuck the Bears. Okay.
Cosign.
If you're wondering what you can do to help places like WAMP, you can adopt a state right now from wherever you are and text out the vote. You just sit on the couch, Netflix and chill, and get out the vote. You put on the Netflix, you do the chilling, and after the chilling, you're just watching Netflix again. When you're watching that Netflix, text out the vote. That's the show. This is the last Super Wisconsin episode for a couple two tree. I'll try and break down the national, global questions you may have, so ask away in the comments. Thanks for watching The Liberal Conspiracy.